everybody likes our older age bourbons and whiskeys. They just, oh, that's the catch me out. The problem is, to get there, it's a rather expensive journey. And so the way it works is, from the moment your whiskey touches the inside of that newly charcoal container, you start paying tax on your whiskey. So if you want to keep it around for 10, 15, 20, 25 years, you're paying tax on it that whole time, and that's to the state and local governments. And then your federal tax is due when the whiskey leaves the barrel and goes into the bottle. So that's your federal excise tax. So when you talk about, somebody's talking about Pappy, when you talk about like a bottle of 20, 23-year-old Pappy, roughly 55 to 59% of what you're paying for is nothing but tax. That's if you can get it at suggested retail price. But most of it's getting flipped now, and it's like $3,000 and $4,000 a bottle. But that's just the additional price above, like about $350, which is what you normally should be able to pay for.
And you're paying tax on the 55 gallons, not what's left.
53 gallons.
53?
Yeah, 53 gallons. So, and we can talk about that when we get into the warehouse. But originally, this distillery was based on 48-gallon barrels. And then they played with some larger ones. This is years ago, and they settled on a 53-gallon barrel, but it had to do with the warehouses. So the warehouses, the way that the rigs are designed, the structural engineers found out that they had double engineered everything around here to handle twice, worst case scenario, which is why the tornado didn't tear up the distillery. But what they discovered was you could shave the inside of a rail and where a 48-gallon barrel was resting, and you could actually fit a 53-gallon barrel into a 48-gallon barrel. So that's why all these distilleries went to 53-gallon barrels. And what most people don't realize, they walk into the visitor center, it looks really nice, it looks very authentic, because it is. This building was Warehouse A, goes back to the 1800s. It held 24,000 barrels of whiskey. And a full barrel of whiskey is 550 pounds. So that's over 6,000 tons of whiskey on old timbers that are still structurally sound today. So it went from a warehouse to a bottling facility, and now it's part of our visitor center. And you're going to be hearing more about it, but we're already hitting 500,000 visitors, and we weren't supposed to get 500,000 visitors until 2025. Wow. And we're already there. So all we're going to do is this. Technology process is the same as it was in the 1800s. That hasn't changed. All we've done is introduce technology into this process. You're going to mill the grain the same way that they did it back in the 1800s. Hammer mill or grist mill. It's not about how you mill it, it's the consistency to which you grind it up to. That's what's important. So no matter which distillery you go to, they will tell you that the consistency of their grain is what they call a number 10 or number 12 screen that they send it through. And all that means is the holes in the screen are 10/64 of an inch in diameter. And that exposes basically the heart of that grain and allows the yeast to be able to get in there and crank out some pretty good hooch. Too coarsely, they'll give your whiskey a bitter taste or a bite. And if it's too fine, it will lump up on you like lumpy gravy, and it won't ferment properly in the ferment. So we cook it at 240 degrees. It takes 8 to 10 bushels of grain to make a barrel of bourbon. A bushel of grain weighs between 45 and 50 pounds. And on a good day, we're going through over 750,000 pounds of grain a day. And we're getting ready to double that. So what most people don't realize, the significance of Buffalo Trace Distillery. So you ready for this? Most people don't realize there are over 6 million structures in North America. Of those 6 million structures, only about 2,400 are National Historic Landmarks. And of those, only a handful are fully operational, functional National Historic Landmarks. So this distillery employs right at 700 people, and the process is still the same, and all they have done is basically treated the employees like family. So the employees don't get laid off, the synergy starts to develop, the employees get a chance to do multiple tasks around here. All this landscaping and all this stuff that you see around here, those are all creations of the employees. So they keep coming up with ideas, and the point is they get a chance to see those ideas implemented. And now it's not a place you come to work anymore because you're a part of the workplace. And you had a pretty cool idea, right? Well, I'm not going to let you outdo me. I've got some ideas too. So then I come up with my ideas, and then my ideas get implemented. And all of a sudden these employees start to share, second, third generations like myself, start coming back. And the distillery becomes one of the most award-winning distilleries in the world. And of the top 5 whiskeys in the world, 3 of them come from right here.
Welcome to the fermenter room here at Buffalo Trace, where we've been distilling for over 200 years. We've got a building full of 93,000 gallon fermenters where you can see and smell fermentation underway. We continue to honor our legacy and embrace change through technology, which certainly helps us meet the demand for our whiskeys. We have invested in expanding all parts of our operation while preserving our quality and the processes we've used for decades. The expansion work has been slow and steady since the late 1990s. However, in 2018, we stepped it up due to the demand. First, we invested in our boiler room. Then we increased our cooking capacity. Then we added our new fermenters by raising the roof on this historic structure. Now let's talk fermentation. For each different mash bill, we mix grains with water and cook them up to release the sugars. After that, we transfer the mash to the fermenting tanks, and it takes 4 of our cookers to fill 1 of these fermenters. Next, we add yeast, using the same strains of yeast we've been using since Prohibition. And this is where the magic happens. We patiently wait 3 to 5 days for the yeast to convert the sugars to alcohol. This tiny organism, yeast, plays such a mighty role in the success of our operation here at Buffalo Trace. Once fermentation is complete, we transfer the liquid to the beer well to await distillation. Fermentation takes its own sweet time, so we're patient, appreciating the traditions of our distillery, and knowing the best things in life just can't be rushed.